floods. Now it's a tornado that has swept 6 states and left a trail of destruction. In North Carolina, it struck with smashing power, killing nearly a score of people, leveling houses to the ground and smashing them to firewood. In Georgia, it's the same story, and here the death roll is 36. The business section of Gainesville, Georgia, lies in ruins. A bell blown from its tower, a statue hurled 50 feet. And then fire adds to the terror of the tornado, and the flames rage unchecked because the fire engines are buried in the ruins. It isn't only war that takes its toll.
Sundown towns. Let's talk about it. Hall County, Georgia is 70th on the list. While learning about this county, we have to look at the county seat, Gainesville. By 1899, Hall County and the county seat, Gainesville, was sick with Jim Crow and fits the criteria of a Jim Crow sundown town. Segregation in public spaces, schools, and housing, terror from the hoods, the police, and everyday citizens, violence, or worse. Let's learn history. Our ancestors were enslaved in this county, but we were scattered across the county on a small scale. We were forced to work for free on their small cotton farms, growing their corn, tending their cattle, and working in their homes. After emancipation, our ancestors stayed close to the farms where they were enslaved and built communities. The neighborhoods you see today, like Fair Street, Summit Street, and later Newton, all came from our ancestors after slavery because of discrimination and segregation within the housing industry. By the 1880s, church was our safe spot and the place where we received some of our earliest education after emancipation. We worshiped together freely in places like the Colored Methodist Episcopal Church, Bethel AME, St. Paul Christian Methodist, First Baptist, and St. John's Baptist Church, founded by Reverend Green Hunter in 1879, and so many more. But our ancestors were never safe enough in this brewing Jim Crow sundown town. And by 1899, this town earned its title. All we know is that a black man named Smith was being held in jail in Gainesville when a mob showed up. They tricked the jail guard and unalived him while he slept. The white people wanted to make sure our ancestors knew their place in this county, hoping to maintain the racial hierarchy that existed during slavery. But the environmental racism that followed closed the lid on this Jim Crow sundown county. Come back for part 2 when we learn about separate and unequal education and the segregated housing that led to the environmental racism and a powerful yet quiet civil rights movement.
Of community spirit is rooted in environmental activism. Newtown was originally built over a landfill and has a higher than average rate of disease-related deaths. The Newtown Florist Club was established to care for sick citizens and has since shifted to advocating for environmental justice in the community. The club has a community land trust with new housing being built in unpolluted areas. Fair Street International Academy teaches pre-K through 5th grade in the neighborhood and has a C rating on niche. Gainesville Middle has a C+. Gainesville High School has a B and is an accredited Blue Ribbon school. Public boat launches provide access to Lake Lanier 3 miles west in Longwood Park. Despite environmental challenges, strong community ties and relatively affordable homes make Newtown stand out.
Sundown Towns, Part 2, number 70. We left off learning about our historic churches in Gainesville, Georgia. Some are still standing today. And the lynching that gave Gainesville, Georgia, and Hall County the title of a Jim Crow sundown town. Let's continue learning. By the early 1900s, our ancestors made up a big part of the population in Gainesville. We opened businesses, our churches were flourishing, and education was also a top priority. So in the early 1900s, the Beulah Rucker School was founded. Our ancestors in Hall County also went to school at Gainesville Colored School until the devastating 1936 tornado. Speaking of 1936, Dr. Butler came to Gainesville in 1936. basics and practice medicine just in time because the tornado was devastating. It hit Gainesville head on. Our communities were hit hard. We had to start from scratch. Moving into the white part of town was not an option. Shoot, we'd better not even be caught in the north side of town at night. With the hoods and night riders running the local police and government, it was a surprise that Hall County decided to help our ancestors get back on their feet. What is that you say? Don't trust? Oh, I thought I heard something. Well, anyway, in 1938, a community was built just for our ancestors. It was called Newtown for obvious reasons. Education was just as important for our ancestors as it was before they were uprooted and segregated into Newton. They would attend Fall Street School, and in the Jim Crow Sundown County that this was, separate and unequal was a given. But nonetheless, our community in Newton was learning to lean on each other during this time. But we kept dying. Well, Newton's housing was built specifically for our ancestors and was built on top of a landfill, a literal dump, and right next to the railroad tracks. From the start of the community, we were set up into layers of environmental dangers, from land to air. Our ancestors didn't decide to live there. We were legally segregated there. Over time, industries started moving in and creating even more environmental issues for our ancestors, like Purina Mill with their grain dust that would cover the neighborhood. It would even cover our playgrounds, and Cargill that also polluted our air and soil. Our Newton community had seen so much death from throat and mouth cancer that by the 1950s, the Florist Club formed to bring flowers to the sick and dying. Our beautiful, brave ancestors started noticing a pattern and transformed into an advocacy group. The civil rights movement looked different than what our ancestors did nationally. Here, our ancestors were fighting against not only Jim Crow, but also environmental racism. By the 1970s, the Florist Club had documented breathing problems and cancers at a rate that was too high to be a mere coincidence. Not too long after realizing and documenting what was happening to our ancestors, urban renewal came through and raised our community without adequate compensation or remediation. This type of environmental violence was okayed by courts for decades, ignoring our rights to basic liberties and freedoms in this Jim Crow Sundown County. Can anyone share a first-hand account about this place, past or present? Share this video. Tag them in the comments. Let's learn.